Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Monday, August 25th, 2025. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Happy Monday, everyone. Here's a look at the ES in the daily time frame right now. A little bit of a fade after trend day back into Friday's range. We are mostly trading here within this developing larger range right here, kind of an ascending pattern here. Really, it's a larger rectangular range as well. So if price were to drop down to the other end of this range here, it would still be a buying opportunity for a move back up. A failure here, and you open up a broader rotation back down. So that's kind of the blueprint as of right now. Still building energy here near the apex of this ascending wedge. Perhaps we get another breakout and continuation up ahead. Again, this key range very, very important to directional conviction and also to finding us some great high probability targets down the road. For example, if we were to break to the downside here, that 6,000 level, big time target area that could be in play, and the resulting bounce could be a great Q4 bounce if we got somewhere into that territory ahead. If we just kind of break to the upside here, we have a 67.14 upside target, 6,700 basically the target here. So any pullback, even as deep as 62, could lead to a finish into 6,700 up ahead. So again, still building that energy right now. From a near-term perspective here, the market kind of in a holding pattern at the moment here, fading back into Friday's range and last week's range, but really awaiting GDP later Thursday and also awaiting core PCE price index, a major Fed tool there or data point there for Friday. So big time economic data points coming out later this week that could really influence price. All right, looking at the NQ here, down about 0.4%, also a fade after trend day developing right now. These pullbacks could lead to a move back into the previous session's midpoints. And again, we're still within the broader key ranges here. So that 2-day range right there has kind of dictated price action here over the last several weeks. And we're still within that range until proven otherwise. Still trending up until proven otherwise. If this market is going to bounce here, the NQ, any pullback into about 23,400 could be defended by bulls for a bit of a check mark move higher. This early pullback this week, if Friday is an indication of more strength to come, then we could be looking at a check mark continuation this week that takes us higher into 24K or beyond. So more upside could certainly be ahead, especially if the early pullback this week is defended, and especially if GDP and core PCE's price index come in a way that makes the market quite bullish. So again, later on this week could really fuel a continuation if things come out positive. Now let's look at crude oil right now. Crude oil currently up 0.7%. This is perhaps the most meaningful quiet rally we've seen in a while from this 61.45 low. Inside day double squat bars and then a nice slow and steady move higher. Higher highs, higher lows. I know it doesn't look like a whole lot here, but when you compare this to any upside movement recently, it just hasn't really been there at all. This was one surprise move into Fed and then it dropped right back down. This is actually about as meaningful as it's gotten to the upside in a good long while. You know, since way back here when the thing rallied quite unexpectedly to those highs and then came right back down. So now, can we recover 64? If we can recover 64, you start working your way back across the range toward VWAP 67.30 and then across into 70 to 71.50. So can we recover 64s? Can we find a higher low and go type of pattern? We will see. All right, looking at gold futures, this one's down a bit here, but not too much. We had a nice squeeze here on a Friday, G-squat day, big time outside day there as well, and recovered 3,400 as well. That's the zone here that this thing needs to recover to kind of get into the lofty area up here and below 3,400, and you're kind of in the chop zone. So once we failed below 3,400 that day, we were kind of in the chop zone. Friday, We're coming back out of it now. Is this a buy the dip here for a short-term continuation to 34.50 and perhaps beyond? Remember, we don't really stay above 34.50 for very long before we start to rotate back down. So if we are going to find acceptance beyond 34.50, is it an indication that we are going to start a price discovery phase? At some point, a 400 to 500 point trending breakout move will occur out of this super long form compression here. But until then, we may continue to see a lot of back and forth false breakouts until that move is ready to be seen. All right, looking at the YM, this one's down about 0.25% right now. A little bit of a pullback fade after trend day developing Friday with a big breakout move, especially from this multi-day range. That's a 6-7 day compression right there, and to get that day one breakout, we may have more upside ahead to the tune of maybe 1,500 points of a continuation, something like this. Let's take a look here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days. We can come here and quantify this with our PivotBoss advanced ADR indicator, and now we have a quantified amount here at the bottom. So for the most part, that was compressed right there at 1,200 points of total range, and the expectation is for a breakout move of about 1,400 points. So you can see we've already pretty much gotten a big move on that one day alone, but we could still have even more ahead. 46,200 could still be at least a near-term target on any pullback, but you get a day one breakout like that, there could be a continuation to the upside. Can we get up toward 46.5 by the end of the month? All right, looking at Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin and Ethereum both having significant moves here. This is a big gap down. This is an MGR gap down and a massive trap after Friday's strong close. You can see that close there. You can see this right here as the Friday midpoint, and this is the Sunday night open of the futures. That's an MGR sell-off. That is a significantly bearish opening relationship there, and it's kind of a major shift in overnight sentiment. You see a big time flush here. How far, how deep do we go on this flush? Remember, anywhere between 110 and 112 offers an opportunity for bulls to defend and rotate this thing back up. But you fail at 110 and you open up a broader pullback into the 95K to 100K zone. That zone could be a major long-term opportunity if it's tested. So while this is a major bearish opening relationship here to begin the week, 110, the big time level here, that's going to decide directional conviction in the near term. So keeping an eye on Bitcoin here, and Ethereum down 4.8% right now. Nearly got to an all-time high on Friday. I believe it got super close, and then here taking a bit of a gap down and drop, but holding Friday's midpoint. Again, likewise, this market been super bullish, and any pullback has been a buying opportunity until proven otherwise. The one key level here we mentioned was 4,000. A failure there, you open up 34, but each of those levels offered buying opportunities recently, although we didn't quite get perfect retest. So still quite bullish for Ethereum, still in the range. Any pullback could still be a buying opportunity in the near term until proven otherwise. All right, that is it for now. We'll see how this plays out heading into the rest of the week. Good luck, trade well, and I'll see you in the trading room. Take care.